You think it's love, you think it's fate, you think she's different. But what if I told you your brain is lying to you about her? Not because she's evil, not because you're stupid, but because your brain is wired for survival, not clarity. And survival has a funny way of dressing fear up as love. Let me explain. There was a moment, you remember it. The first time she smiled at you and held eye contact just half a second longer than necessary. Your chest tightened, your thoughts blurred. The room felt smaller, quieter, charged. That wasn't magic. That was dopamine. Your brain released a chemical reward because it detected something valuable, potential connection. And dopamine doesn't just make you feel good. It makes you focus. It tells your mind, this matters, pay attention. From that moment on, your brain began building a story. Not about who she is, but about who you hope she is. And here's where the lie begins. Your brain doesn't fall in love with reality. It falls in love with prediction. When she laughs at your joke, your brain predicts acceptance. When she texts back quickly, your brain predicts safety. When she shares something vulnerable, your brain predicts intimacy. And predictions feel powerful, they feel certain. But they are guesses, emotionally charged guesses. You're not reacting to her. You're reacting to the future you imagine with her. That future feels warm, stable, fulfilling, but it exists nowhere except inside your head. Have you noticed how in the beginning you ignore red flags? She cancels last minute, you say she's busy. She pulls away emotionally. You say she's just guarded. She gives you mixed signals. You call it complexity. Your brain hates cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding two conflicting truths. If you believe she's special, and she behaves in a way that contradicts that belief, your brain will bend reality to protect the belief. Why? Because losing the fantasy hurts more than distorting the facts, so your brain edits the footage. It zooms in on the sweet moments. It blurs the cold ones. It rewrites arguments. It softens rejection. You don't see her clearly. You see her through the filter of desire. There's another lie your brain tells you, scarcity. When you believe she's the one, your brain activates fear of loss. And fear of loss is neurologically louder than hope of gain. Studies show we feel losses about twice as strongly as equivalent gains. So when she seems distant, your body reacts like something essential is slipping away. Your heart races, you overanalyze texts, you replay conversations, your brain whispers, don't lose her. You may never find someone like this again. But that voice isn't wisdom, it's ancient wiring. Thousands of years ago, being rejected from the tribe meant death. So your nervous system treats romantic uncertainty like a survival threat. She becomes more than a woman, she becomes safety. And that's a dangerous pedestal to put anyone on. Let's talk about the pedestal. When you admire someone, your brain fills in their missing traits with ideal ones. It's called the halo effect. If she's attractive, your brain assumes she's kind. If she's intelligent, you assume she's emotionally mature. If she's confident, you assume she's secure. You connect dots that were never proven. And the more you invest emotionally, the more your brain doubles down. Because admitting you misjudged her would mean admitting vulnerability. So instead you romanticize. You say, she's complicated. You say, she's just been hurt. You say, she's different with me. Maybe she is. But maybe you're seeing what you need to see. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes you're not in love with her. You're in love with how she makes you feel about yourself. When she chooses you, you feel worthy. When she desires you, you feel powerful. When she confides in you, you feel important. Your brain links her presence to your self-esteem. So when she pulls away, it doesn't just feel like losing her. It feels like losing your value. That's why you chase. That's why you overextend. That's why you tolerate things you once promised you never would. Your brain convinces you she's irreplaceable. But what you're really afraid of losing is the version of you that exists in her eyes. Let's slow this down. Think about the moments when she takes hours to reply. Your logical mind says, she's probably busy. But your emotional brain activates a threat response. Cortisol rises. You check your phone again and again. You start crafting follow-up messages in your head. Not because you're weak, but because intermittent reinforcement is powerful. When affection is unpredictable, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, your brain works harder for it. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. You don't get rewarded every time, but when you do, it feels intense. So you stay, you wait, you hope, and your brain calls it love. Now let's flip it. Have you ever noticed that when she finally gives you reassurance, when she's suddenly affectionate or vulnerable, everything feels okay again? Arguments disappear. Doubts fade. Your brain floods with relief chemicals. It says, "See? It was worth it." But relief is not the same as compatibility. Calm after chaos is not intimacy, and intensity is not depth. Your brain confuses emotional roller coasters with passion because both create strong chemical reactions. But healthy love feels stable. And stability can feel boring to a brain addicted to unpredictability. There's another lie your brain tells you. It says, "You've invested too much to walk away." You remember the late-night conversations, the shared secrets, the plans, the emotional energy. Your brain calculates sunk cost. It says, if you leave now, all that effort was wasted. So you stay longer than you should. You try harder. You negotiate your boundaries. But love is not a business contract, and time invested is not proof of future return. Your brain hates losing investments. But sometimes walking away is the only way to regain clarity. Now here's the most powerful lie of all. She will change. Your brain sees her potential and mistakes it for reality. You imagine how things could be if she communicated better, if she healed, if she committed. You fall in love with her future self. But relationships don't thrive on potential. They thrive on patterns, and patterns are more honest than promises. If someone consistently shows inconsistency, that is the truth, not the apology that follows. Your brain clings to hope because hope feels empowering. But hope without evidence becomes self-deception. I'm not saying she doesn't care. I'm not saying she's manipulating you. I'm saying your brain is designed to protect attachment at almost any cost. Attachment equals survival in the eyes of your nervous system. So it will distort, minimize, exaggerate, and justify it all to keep the bond intact. The question isn't whether she's good or bad. The question is, are you seeing her clearly? Or are you seeing her through chemistry, fear, and projection? Here's a simple test. If your best friend described the exact same relationship dynamic you're experiencing, the same mixed signals, the same anxiety, the same emotional highs and lows, what would you tell him? Be honest. You'd probably say, "Bro, this isn't healthy." But when it's you, your brain becomes a defense attorney. It builds arguments, it highlights her good traits, it downplays the pain. Because detaching feels like withdrawal. And in many ways, it is. Romantic attachment activates similar neural pathways as addiction. You're not crazy, you're chemically hooked. So what do you do with this information? First, slow down. Intensity clouds judgment, distance restores it. Second, separate feelings from facts. Feeling, she's the only one for me. Fact, there are billions of people in the world. Feeling, I can't live without her. Fact, you lived before her. Feeling, if I just try harder, she'll love me the way I need. Fact, love given reluctantly is rarely sustainable. Write things down. Look at patterns over time, not moments in isolation. Consistency reveals truth. Third, ask yourself a deeper question. Am I drawn to her or to the challenge of winning her? Sometimes what feels like love is actually a wounded part of you trying to prove worth. If you grew up craving approval, you might chase emotionally unavailable partners because winning them feels like redemption. Your brain isn't chasing her. It's chasing healing. But healing doesn't come from someone finally choosing you. It comes from choosing yourself. And here's where the story changes. The moment you stop romanticizing confusion, the moment you stop interpreting breadcrumbs as banquets, the moment you stop calling anxiety passion, your brain will resist. It will replay memories. It will tempt you with nostalgia. But clarity grows when you tolerate temporary discomfort. Real love doesn't require mental gymnastics. It doesn't require decoding signals. It doesn't require shrinking yourself to maintain access. Imagine this instead. Someone consistent. Someone emotionally available. Someone who doesn't make you question your value. Your brain might call that boring at first,